the scooter broken arm zither harp story, you know, from Bermuda.
I do, but you tell it again.
Okay, because I told that one today because they were talking about Bermuda. When I was 11, Carol and my mother's sister and brother-in-law and their 3 kids, their cousins I was very close to, all lived in Bermuda, which is an island. This is for, well, whoever it's for. And so we decided to go over one Christmas. Well, Grandma and I...
It's for when I lose my mind and I can't remember the story.
Well, Grandma and I...
Or where Bermuda is.
I got out of school and I could go, and Grandma and I went over early. But your dad and Grandpa ran the hardware store, and they had to stay open pretty close up to Christmas. So we went over for 2 weeks, I think, and they were coming over like 2 days before Christmas was the plan. Well, then there was a blizzard from Boston to Bermuda. I mean, you know, for the flights out. So they got delayed. I think they ended up coming in Christmas Eve or something that year.
Yeah, it was the day before Christmas, I think.
But Bermuda is very balmy, and it's, you know, it's not winter there. So your father, he had been given a zither for Christmas, I believe.
A what?
A zither. Remember the zither?
Oh. Yes.
And it basically was this. It's a small box with strings on it. It's like a little tiny harp, but it's very. I mean, we're talking about something that's no more than a foot long. Well, he decided to rent a scooter. He was, you know, college kid. He was about 20. So he rents a scooter and he's bopping around Bermuda by himself, and he gets an accident and breaks his arm, and the zither is, well, anyway, whoever found him, Bermuda is so small that it was like being in a small town. Word passed all the merchants, you know, and my cousins didn't live on base housing, they lived in the middle of the island, so all the locals knew, oh, the crazy people, Americans that live, you know, in Paget, and with the military, you know, the Air Force husband, and now their relative was on a scooter, and he got in an accident, and he had a harp on the back of the scooter. So the story changed, and everybody was visualizing this 6-foot harp off the back of the scooter. You know, and that was, he was driving a scooter with a harp on the back of it? And then your father's arm he had to go get it set, and they didn't set it properly. And you know that, right?
He still can't straighten his arm.
To this day, he can't, so he never had it rebroken and refixed, so...
The lanes were very narrow, too, I might add.
And don't they drive on the wrong side, or the other side of the road,
Right.
the British side?
Yeah, and they have roundabouts, like in New Zealand, everywhere.
Uh-huh.
And then another Annie Carroll story, because those are always good. Then, the summer we moved to Florida, we sold our house, the furniture was being shipped, and basically, we had nowhere to live until the house was ready in August. So, Grandpa said, I'll stay with friends, finish up with the hardware store. You and Mom go to Bermuda for the month of July. So we were like, cool. And my uncle was on R&R, and he was an alcoholic and not really fun to be around. So we had the 2 ladies who were totally fun to be around. And then we had 4 kids. And we had a Morris Minor, which is like a Mini Cooper, basically, or even smaller. It's smaller than the Morris Minor is smaller than a VW, the Morris Minor.
Oh.
Well, the Morris Minor was an old secondhand car, and Carol had never learned to drive. So my mother decided this is the time that Carol is going to learn to drive in a foreign country with the opposite side of the street.
On the left side of the road.
With 6 kids and a
4
teeny
kids,
car.
4 kids, and we're talking about a tiny car. And we were all, you know, we weren't big, we weren't teenagers, but it was still 4 kids. They were all like from 10 down to 5.
And we always had groceries.
And then, this was an old car, and our Uncle Mac had decided the ceiling was kind of yucky. So they ripped out the lining. But it was really yucky, so we thought, well, we need to put a new ceiling on the car. So we put up contact paper in humid Bermuda.
Oh.
So the whole time we would ride around town, the contact paper would gradually fall onto everybody, and then you'd shove it up and push it up on the ceiling. You wouldn't take it out and get rid of it. You just kept pushing it up and letting it flop and push it up and let it flop. So then Carol finally got her license, and you got your license there too.
Yeah.
You both got your licenses there. And then we would just go on adventures all the time. We used to bop all around the island, and and then we found, because they lived there for like 4 years, Carol found a private beach that was, either the people didn't really live there much or something, and we would go on these dirt roads in this little car, because it was like 2 or 3 miles away, and there they had, out of the coral reefs, they had carved a swimming pool that was about the size of that living area, and the tides would splash over and fill it, and then it would go out, and in the way, it was all these reefs and waves. It was the greatest beach. It was so much fun at that beach.